Like a country, you should make a constitution and enact laws, and if broken, they should come with punishments. Govern yourself like a city or a country. And with that, a new daily Kaupen Yap over here, where I talk for 10 minutes straight about random topics, and then after 10 minutes, I just cut it off unedited. So, govern yourself like a city or a country. This idea just came to me. I don't even know if it's useful. I don't know if it's a thing that we should think about. I don't know if someone else has thought of this idea before. Most likely they have. But my idea was, when we have a country, right? Be it, let's say, the United States of America or whatever. I mean, any EU country, mostly any country. They usually always start with a constitution. These are sort of the basic law, right? The very foundation of whatever the country is made up of. And these are rights and responsibilities, let's say, that are granted to its citizens that then, well, they permeate throughout the entire state. And then laws are enacted, which are there to... Interesting. I haven't even thought about why are laws there. I guess they are there to order society in some capacity. Although most of the time, I think that most of the time you could solve for like laws what is to be done. I guess let's rephrase it, or let's go step back another one, right? If we have morality, right, like what we ought to do, then that's something that laws point to. Laws are not always moral, because that's not what laws are, right? Illegal and immoral are not often, they are sometimes different things. And not often, I don't think they're often it. I think most of the time, immoral laws are rare, but they can happen. They can happen, and they still happen. That's still a thing, sadly. And what I was thinking is that there is a saying that it is more difficult to govern yourself than it is to govern a city. I believe this wholeheartedly, because you can't even get yourself to do, I mean, anything really, right? I think in one of the old Jordan Peterson lectures, he once talked about you are a bad boss and a worse employee. It's like, yeah, exactly. It's like you sort of, you can't make yourself do anything really if you think about it. And it's strange like that. And what I was thinking is that, what if you wrote down a constitution for yourself? You say, listen, these are the rights and these are the responsibilities that I will grant to myself. And I will say, basically, these are my standards that I'm going to live by. And then every time you have a behavior that you want to reinforce, you enact a law. You literally write it out. If this happens, this happens, this happens, this happens. And then this should be, I don't know if there should be punishment, because I think that can go into toxicity very easily. But just think about that. Maybe this is a framework that could be really useful, right? Put it down in a constitution. Say, listen, these are the standards I live by. These are the standards that I want to strive towards, let's say. And it's fine. You are going to sometimes not reach the heights that you would like to. You will probably fall short of your standards and what you are capable of. That is to be human, and that's fine. But the nobility and the honor and the dignity of your soul is not in reaching heights or being perfect. The dignity and honor and purity of your soul lies in the pursuit of the good, not the good itself, necessarily. Now, of course, if you can also do good, absolutely amazing. That's always a great idea. But I think the pursuit of it is more honorable than the actual reaching of it. I find it very strange. We don't talk about things like that a lot, do we? Like honor and what did I wrote down? Let me actually see. There's quite a few of them. Courage we do talk about sometimes, but a lot of these things, it's very rare that we ever talk about them in our society. And yet, look at any movie that really carries a lot of heart with it. It is usually honor. It is honor, family, courage, justice, compassion, responsibility. there's some strangeness about that we've forgotten these virtues. I don't think we've forgotten them. It's just that we did. I mean, it kind of is, right? What you don't focus on, you forget, right? Out of sight, out of mind. Basically saying that if you don't have them in your focus, then we forget them. I don't know. It's an interesting one. It's a very, very interesting one. So think about the making a constitution for yourself and then enacting laws. I think this is something that we do already, but we do it subconsciously. We do it completely in the unconscious, and we don't even think about it. Because what happens is that, let's say you go somewhere and you make a joke, and they, in a group, and they don't laugh, and then you're like, oh, I've just passed a new law. If I'm in a group, I'm not gonna make a joke because people will not laugh, and that made me feel bad. That's the laws you enact. But what if the laws you enacted upon yourself are positive laws instead of negative laws? This is so when you focus on more of the positives, then you can, what do we say? You can amplify the positives via that. Now, I'm not preaching toxic positivity over here. What I'm preaching is that there's a great quote by Alex Hormozy: if you can feel bad for no reason, you can feel good for no reason. It's kind of true when you think about it. If you have nothing going on that day and you're just sort of existing and you just feel bad, you're just like, ugh, you feel icky or something. It's like, okay, what is the reason why you feel that way? I don't know. I just don't have a reason. It's like, okay, that's kind of like, that's why though. Like, you could also feel happy about that, or you could feel happy in that instance then as well. It doesn't make any sense. I've been listening to a lot of Alan Watts lately, and this might be a little bit too esoteric for a couple of people, but that's fine. I mean, I take in wisdom from everywhere, because that's what did Uncle Iroh say? You need to get wisdom from many different places, otherwise it gets stale and wrong. No, it's something like that though. It's close to it. It gets stale and rigid. Oh, it becomes rigid and stale. There you go. It is important to draw wisdom from many different places. If you take it only from one place, it becomes rigid and stale. Unbelievably true. Take wisdom from any single source that you can. It does not matter what the source is. If there is wisdom to be had there, take it and incorporate it somehow into your being. Because I think that a lot of we're trying to figure out this thing that we're living. It's some of the craziest stuff that we have, and I think it most of the time can be broken down into very, very simple things. So one thing I constantly write down on my notes is peace comes from the inside, and that is the this is simply true. So you have to, when you want to be tranquil and you want to be calm and you want to be peaceful. I don't know if peaceful is necessarily always a worthwhile goal, but I do believe that it is. So peaceful would be one of those things where you have no conscience at night. You can sleep without guilt or shame or worry. You can exist. You can breathe in, breathe out without worry. Peace comes from the inside. So that you have to be the boat upon the waves. It's going to get carried regardless of how high the waves are. And you just have to keep on floating. And that's the idea. The idea is to keep on floating, and that's regardless of what happens. So peace comes from the inside means that it doesn't necessarily matter what comes in from the outside. You have to find that nugget of peace, that small singularity within your soul that is like, this is peaceful. I am here, and I am, what do you say? You're balanced as is. Like I said, maybe a little bit too esoteric. I do like the ideas in this, like Alan Watts and the Zen, let's say, then Zen tradition. So for example, peace comes from the inside. You may or may not be able to hear it. There's once again construction going on next to me. We're just gonna keep rolling, okay? I feel no agitation of it. It is what it is. I cannot change it right now. It just happens. So there you go. Yeah, that's sort of one of the ideas, right? If you just have to go with the flow. You can steer, but never try to paddle against the rush. That's a pretty good wisdom, so to speak, to end on. Once again, I don't know exactly where we're at, but we're nearing the end, so if it cuts off, then there you go. Otherwise, Hope you found this interesting and useful, and talk to you again tomorrow. Until